We came from a big ball of light, and this is where we are now. But you'll want to know the whole story. You are the main character. So am I. We all are. This book is about me and you. It is about everything. Nothing is excluded. And it is included too. This book comes from the edge and it comes from the centre, from the whole. It engenders a shift from and through limited versions of reality, limited versions of self, to that which we were born from, unfold through and return to. The creative power of the universe. True self, that which we always were. Enjoy. This is a book about who we are, what we're doing here, and what this life is really all about. It is about what we're waking up from and what we're waking up to. About the world and our place in it. And it is more than that. This is a journey of self-realization. Our origins, where we are now, our destination. It is about our awakening as a whole. So let's begin. Let's begin what has already begun. That which is forever, timelessly beginning and borning anew. We talk of different world cultures, but there is only one world culture. It is one of survival, competition, and external success. This is what the world has bred and what it breeds, irrespective of the boundaries it asserts. It is the modern world that spreads and is spreading. It is not so much dominant as dominating, finding its power and finding power over others. It is not an innate power, but a power of external proportions, a constructed power based on a separation that exists because of our belief in it. All over the planet, in east and west, to the north and south, this power is shaping the world we have come to live in. It operates worldwide, but it is not of unity. It is of ego, separation, money and power. Country to country, despite all the apparent differences and manifest expressions, ego, separation, money and power would appear to be the common tenets of modernity. Look around you. Their prevalence and tenacity would appear to elevate them to the world ideal. Whilst we are identifying with, being influenced by and operating in terms of ego, separation, money and power, the world culture we share is one that cannot properly conceive of sharing. Under these conditions, ours is a shared culture of separation and spiritual loss, with conflict at its root. We are caught between knowing we share this earth, recognizing our shared responsibility for it as a single entity, and operating within this all-consuming, dominating cultural paradigm. This is the paradigm of self-preservation and self-assertion, where the self is understood as a limited unit in relation to all the other relatively powerless limited units. For if we are limited, there is always uncertainty, insecurity, and powerlessness. The world pushing in on us from outside. Seemingly subject to all number of external constraints, we find ourselves in this hodgepodge hotpot of a global village, all of us operating from egoistic minds of separation, grabbing what we can for ourselves. While many of us may be inclined to feel that something is not right, to a large extent we go along with it. It's what we've been conditioned and socialised into. Even if we want to make a change, we're not in a position to do so. Not like this. At least that's how we might feel. The lives we live are fraught with the tension of the resultant cognitive dissonance. We exist within the darkened grey concrete smudging of the conflictual haze. Because we can't seem to see past our own conditioning, our own stories of the world and ourselves. Not only is what we have been normalised into outside ourselves, it is within our own minds, our own thought structures. Monetary exchange may be the driving force of all life, as we choose. Monetary exchange may be the driving force of life as we choose to live it in the world, but it is not the root. The reality runs deeper than the external expression. At the root of the systems we operate on are the principles of separation, disharmony, and conflict. Our patterns of relationship are sustained by a deeply ingrained sense of the difference and distance held between us. The oil in the machine is held in our own heads, and so any desire for change has to be directed at the level of our own minds. Because with the external being an expression of the internal, any system premised on separation is merely a functional reflection of a psychological split harboured within. an afterthought of a spiritual malaise. For as long as we are functioning within this fragmented context, on one level or another, separation is the value system we subscribe to. Our energies are fragmented, and it is tearing us apart. We are tearing ourselves apart. Across the board, it seems duality is our means of understanding the world and ourselves. The duality of this or that, you or me, right or wrong, profit or loss. The whole system would collapse if it weren't for our presumptive belief in separation, our presumptive belief in reality of five-sensory totality, the totality of five senses. Duality is in our very thought structures, and our thought structures are held in duality. The duality allowing for pleasure and pain, for experience and suffering, locked into little more than a physical reality is all there is, understanding of what life is and what it means to be alive. Against this backdrop we hold a vision of the world united. We hope for peace, love and unity. We may even go some way towards creating it. But what we are capable of is far more than a faint hope, limited by our own misappropriation of the nature of reality. The canvas is blank and boundless, so our creation is futile unless we are prepared to face up to this, unless we are prepared to face up to the separation and conflict within ourselves and go beyond. Until then, until we claim responsibility for ourselves, our lives are lost in the details, and our divine nature, that is, our true creative power, is obscured, distorted, and lost to us. We are here to reclaim it, to sift through the myriad forms of distraction and negotiate our way back, wading our way through the separation, the signs and symbols of our seemingly separative existence, to come back to our true nature, our true self. This is the whole journey. We are on the journey of consciousness experiencing itself. We are that journey, and as the custodians of the divinely present moment, we are its acting agents. We are the acting agents of now, the active acting agents of what works through us. In that moment, or rather, in this moment, nothing is missing. There is all possibility, and we are that all possibility. That is, when we recognize it, and when we choose to be. Here and now, there is choice. The choice to become aware of the multidimensional life that we are, and the choice to live accordingly. This is essentially what it is all about. Life. This is all there is, and this is what you are. You are life, its pure potentiality and its expression, this moment. And the fullness of this life is constantly presenting itself to you, with the choice to function beyond the solely physical and the separate. Moment to moment, you are asking of your own transcendence. Going beyond our constraints, as it is necessary to do, reclaiming our own sense of self, of who we are and what this experience is all about, we become the difference we seek to make. Seek for perfection in every moment, accept it is there, here, now. Through the awareness of our divine reality, we can create the world we want to live in and the lives we want to live. Already we are making motions towards peace, if not in the world out there, through a yearning within, a yearning that cannot understand itself amidst the limitations of our thinking, but is the stirring of the heart and the stirring of the spirit. Shifting inside, we welcome in the change. We are seeing a transformation and ushering it in through our understandings, our decisions and our choices. Real unity, one world culture of oneness. It cannot be a distortion, it cannot be an illusion. It cannot possibly be of the ego, because the ego does not understand the true nature of one. Ego is premised, rooted in separation, just like its project, the monetary system. We've almost exhausted the ego as our modus operandi, our dominant mode of being. We are reaching the limits of what it can offer us. Making the transition, awakening to spirit, true unity cannot have ego at its base in any form. Most importantly, it cannot be feigned within the disguised motives of those seeking to perpetuate or establish control. We've seen enough of that already. And so upheaval and change are as inevitable as this culture's replacement with one of unity, as individuals and collectives realize nothing else works. Nothing else works because who you are is beyond the separation. We are the love that allows it to be. Beyond the images and stories held therein, and yet embracing all of them. But staunchly sticking to the separation, to these images and stories, we bring our problems into effect. Because if we are denying what is beyond them, beyond and beneath them, we simply don't know ourselves. We don't know what we're operating with, not wholly. Knowing who we are is the only way, knowing the whole. Only then can we express peace, love and unity, naturally emerging as the movement of the life that we are. And only then can we create a world culture of true oneness, a spiritual harmony free from egoistic dominance and manipulation. Real freedom cannot be found in ignorance. Ignorance and freedom cannot go together. Only ignorance and images of freedom we've been fed and have adopted, images of ourselves. And so we have to educate ourselves and allow ourselves to be educated beyond images. To know who we are beyond labels and associations, to realize it for ourselves. This is true wisdom, freedom and unity beyond any system of ignorance, beyond the words and pictures. But don't just take my word for it, go into it deeply. These words are just signposts back to yourself. Ride them, explore, go into them deeply. Go into yourself deeply. Everything here you know for yourself. You know already. It's just maybe you've obscured it, or it has been obscured. The purpose of this book is to shine some light. To light the way, trailblazing with you through distraction and obscuration. Its purpose is found in your purpose, and so it is directly and divinely relevant. Come back to yourself. This is what we're here for. We can choose to explore the meaning of our existence. In learning of ourselves, we can discover our highest truth and create from this point, working and playing through the fragmented parts to the whole, manifesting through dream to reality. Know yourself, know thyself, know thine own self. It all comes back to this. To you, knowledge of yourself, the ultimate knowledge, the answer to the question, who am I? Individually and collectively, through the realization and transcendence of our own limitations, through personal spiritual development, we are emerging our truth. We are waking up from the illusion and returning to the reality. We are waking up to the truth of who and what we are. And this is what this book is all about.